That's good. How she goes to sing.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Before we call this meeting to order, Nathan, do you mind leading us in our opening prayer?
For sure.
Thank you.
Let's pray. Father God, we thank you for a chance to assemble today. And Lord, we thank you for the day that you have made. We rejoice and we are glad in it. We ask as the business of the county is attended to, that your perfect will be done, that you will guide everyone that has a hand in these proceedings, that Lord, they will enjoy your good wisdom. And Lord, we know there are many in this county and this nation that are hurting. We pray that you be the God of comfort and God of peace for each one. Now we commit all these things to you, the one who is able. And we say, dear God, thank you for all the blessings that we enjoy. And we ask all these things in the name of Jesus the Savior. Amen.
Amen. We'll call this meeting to order by saying our pledge to the greatest flag on this earth. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending. We're going to start this meeting by approval of the minutes from last meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Next up is approved to amend order number 23 on the January 9, 2024 fiscal court meeting on motion of Tyler Davenport, duly seconded by Ann Crawford, to hold the first reading of ordinance number 24-230-01, an amendment to ordinance 23-230-04, an ordinance relating to certain amendments to the personnel policy and procedure compensation plan and classified plan adopted on January 11, 2005, adding additional positions for the Logan County Animal Shelter to include amending the job description of the Animal Control Officer Director, Animal Shelter Part-Time, and Animal Shelter Director. Basically, what we want to do is just go ahead and add the first reading of these changes to their job descriptions.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second?
Is there any other discussion?
I think the only discussion I've had is, I've just had one concerned citizen just kind of voice their opinion that all employees should be working with and promoting adoptions. I assured them that we were, and everybody would be, but to keep the, because that language used to be in the AOC officer's job description, and I just kind of conveyed to them that it was the intent, the primary duty of that would fall under the director. And,
Yes.
and so, but I assured him that
Yes.
all would be working.
Yes, I think,
do
I
that.
want to encourage all to like and share the, Facebook seems to be the media of which everybody finds their information. So I would appreciate if everyone would share the Logan County Animal Control or Animal Control and Care Facebook page and go out there and promote these adoptions.
The only thing that I seen you either revised, that you had marked out the Cleans Animal Shelter when needed or in absence of the animal shelter director, but I mean, I think I still would like something in the job description that says, per the ACO supervisor, if all their primary duties have been done and we're having any kind of crisis with employment or something like that, that if their supervisor allows, that they could go out and help. So in some kind of way, I still like that to be in the,
So kind of reworded to basically say if the control officer has the time that he spends time out at the shelter,
Well, just-
taking care of necessary duties.
if their primary role is done and their supervisor, which is the sheriff,
Right.
would allow them to go to the shelter.
I see no reason that would be a problem to add into that.
Okay.
I'll discuss it with the sheriff. I'll discuss it with the sheriff and I'll get you, for about the second reading, and I'll have that added into that.
Of course, I mean, it's up to his supervisor whether
Oh,
or not he
absolutely.
goes, so it's
Absolutely.
It's up to the sheriff, so.
On number 19, where it said, for the animal control officer to create and maintain good working relationships with animal adoption agencies, organizations to avoid shelter overpopulation. I think that needs to leave, but I think there needs to be some wording in there where if once our director and we start working with rescues and we start doing our own adoptions, that there's gonna come a time where some transportation is gonna have to be involved. And
Yes.
as of now, we have really the only transportation we would have would be our animal control van.
Correct.
So if 5 dogs have to be taken to Bowling Green, I think that needs to be something that's in this job description until we have another way to provide transportation.
I am 100% in favor of that. 100%. I will make sure that it gets put in there. Is there anything else that you guys would like to discuss on this matter?
Well, right now, they're not taking dogs to the shelter, is that correct? Are we at capacity, and what's the problem? I need to know that.
I'll tell you what, if we can
Wait,
hold that
wait.
discussion,
Okay.
Eric is here, we'll discuss that when Eric comes up during his time, if that's okay.
Oh, no, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I just
we'll
wanted to ask
talk about
question.
that discussion here in just a minute.
Okay,
And I
fine.
appreciate you bringing that up, because that is an area of concern we're gonna talk about.
Okay, because I've had some calls about that.
Is there any other discussion on the approval to the amend? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes?
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Thank you all. Next up is Lee Thompson from the Barren River Child Advocacy Center. She will address the court. Before she comes up here, I just want you to know I went to their open house December, was that what it was?
Yes, sir, it was.
And they do some tremendous work for this county, for this region, and I'm 100% in favor of supporting this group as much as we possibly can. The teddy bear stage was my favorite thing.
It's impressive. Well, good morning. Thank you all for having me here. Special thank you to Judge Baker, as well as our magistrates. Thank you to Sheriff Stratton. A special thank you to Detective Laura Casey and the Warren County, I'm very sorry, the Logan County Sheriff's Office. You all do so much for us, and we are deeply appreciative. So, I don't know how many of you know the ins and outs of what a Child Advocacy Center does, but the movement started in 1998. We opened our doors in 2001, and the premise is that when a child is a victim of sexual assault or abuse, in the past, they would have to retell their story. They might start with the teacher, and then the teacher tells guidance tells assistant principal, and the child is retelling and re-experiencing that trauma over and over again, right? And so somewhere along the way, someone said, that's just not fair to children. And so they developed these child advocacy centers. There are 15 across the state of Kentucky, where there is one child-friendly, safe location where a child and their non-offending caregiver can come to receive services such as medical examinations. We do forensic interviews, which are really helpful with any type of prosecution. And then we may see a child up until a year or sometimes longer for extended therapy services. These services would not be possible without the community partners that we work with in the schools, but also our law enforcement, therapists, medical providers. We have a team of physicians, lots and lots of hands that are involved in that process. So that's generally what the model looks like. The reason I'm here today is to, one, thank you for the funding and support that you have provided to our center in the past. One of our larger pots of funding is through the Victims of Crime Act, VOCA, which has been cut and cut and cut over the years between 18 and 21. That funding decreased statewide from $45 million to $14 million, and what that looks like for us in fiscal years 22 and 23 and 24 are further reductions of $111,000 and a reduction of $102,000, and we are expecting further cuts again this fiscal year. So your support is really critical. If you'll look at the second page, this year we provided a complete breakdown of what we spend on Logan County kiddos and their families. So hopefully that gives you a better idea of how we spend that funding and exactly what it goes for, and what that total looks like for your county. Logan County is actually number 3 in the Brad region in the number of child sexual abuse cases that we see. So we respectfully request any funding that you feel is appropriate. And again, thank you for the support you have provided. I also want to say thank you to our board member, Paula Clark. She is just an amazing advocate for the center and the work that we do. So if anyone has any questions, Paula has lots of stories. She's in the phone book. If you're ever curious, you can reach out to Paula, who can answer any questions as well. But are there any questions for myself, or Detective Laura, or Paula Clark?
My question is, we have a very, very well-funded and representative law enforcement team, and we are so lucky. So my question is, because we have that fully funded, are we able to reach more of these cases because of that than places that maybe aren't as fully funded? I'm wondering, I'm hoping, of course, with those numbers that we're looking at, that's
Right.
because we are seeing more people.
Right.
I don't know how you could compare that, but I just wondered it.
I'm not even real sure, like, for Logan County, I am the detective for the sheriff's office. All of these cases that come in for the county, I work.
Good.
Without the Child Advocacy Center, they make things so much easier for me to do my job, as well as these children, these littles. Imagine, none of us like going to the hospital, the emergency room. A child that goes to the emergency room for a medical, in that clinical setting, and then that they sit there, and they sit there, and they sit there, and they sit there, and they wait until whoever can get to them to do the sexual assault kit. It's so much friendlier for them to go to the Advocacy Center and do everything in one facility. It's child-friendly. If you've never been to the CAC, go.
Yes,
Go for a
agreed.
tour and see just the atmosphere for these kids. Even the medical room, it's not clinical, it's friendly, which helps. It helps with these kids. Takes their mind off. You know, there's murals, there's things for them to focus on while they're having a medical exam done that should never have to have been done. And these kids are being abused by somebody that they trusted, somebody that they thought cared for them, loved them. They're not being abused by strangers.
To the other side, to answer your question, Ms. Crawford, is Logan County is one of the third largest counties as far as population in the Brad region. I think third is correct, followed just by Warren County. I mean, ahead is Warren County and Barron County. So to answer your question, you know, the reason our numbers are so high is surely because of population is one of those reasons.
Well, I
that they're so
thought maybe
high.
we were reaching them better. Actually, I was complimenting.
What I was gonna say is honestly, I think unfortunately, the numbers are probably even higher that are not reported.
Correct.
Exactly.
Our numbers go up because I feel like we have such a great frisk in our schools, and the training has become more better. We isolate a detective for those. We have the Advocacy Center. So children are seeing that there is hope and help there because of all the little pieces out there being sourced for them. And then when you have the Advocacy Center, it's unfortunately, it's just children are seeing that there is hope and help. And that's the whole purpose. So
Well, that was actually my question.
yes, and I knew that.
We do have that very
We
well.
do have a good reach out there, and the more that we publicize it, the more that the schools does, the more that, you know, that's why I made a detective that solely, because it's just such an overloaded case.
I can tell by her compassion that you picked the right person.
I did, and,
Yes, yes.
and again, there's just not any word that we can describe how important this is.
So my question was, it seems like to me we've got a good system.
We do.
don't want to break anybody, we just want to improve.
And that's,
it.
Right.
that's, people say, why is there increases? And honestly, I think there's increases in cases because children and adults are seeing compassion, they're seeing opportunity to get help
And reaching out.
and reaching out. And that's what we want. That's what we want.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately,
And
most
this
of
is
the
a
cases.
topic that nobody wants to talk about, nobody wants to
Exactly.
discuss.
This is
Right.
also a job that no one should have to do. The work that Detective Casey does, no one wants that job. The work that the staff at the CAC do, no one should have to or wants to do that work, but someone has to do it, right?
Correct,
Well,
correct.
compliments and compliments to you
Thank
too.
you.
I'm really proud of our law enforcement team.
Absolutely.
And you are representative child advocacy doesn't sound like law enforcement, but it is.
Well, we
Correct.
couldn't exist without law
Correct.
enforcement. The work that we do together is very integral.
As I said, I went up for their open house, and Laura and I took a tour through the facility, and you're taking a child that's vulnerable and in a bad spot of their life at that point, and as you said, putting them in a hospital where there's people running around, everything going on. This gives them a spot where they can set the child down, they can play, they can be a child for a little while, and unfortunately, they have to have this stuff that happens. But they've got the facility where it's one-on-one, there's not people running around. They can let their guard down and possibly tell their story. So I'm 100%. I mean, ever since I took that tour, it's been deep on my heart. At this point, I'm going to ask for quite a bit more funding for them on this next budget year. And I hope I have the court support because of the work that they do. If you don't want to, I'm not going to say anything other than I'm going to ask for a lot more money to support this facility.
They asked for, so we pay $1,500
$1,500
right
right
now.
now.
And they asked for double that, so, right?
That's what they're going to ask for, but I'm
Yeah,
going to
but
encourage
stick
us to
a pin in
pay.
your move.
I'm going to encourage us to send more than double to this facility. If you don't believe me, I'm going to ask each one of you to please just go visit.
I have one question. Why the reduction in the federal VOCA funding? Is there an explanation
It started out
for
with
that?
COVID. We started seeing cuts during that COVID period, and they just have not increased it.
Did you see more cases during COVID?
We absolutely
Sure,
saw
that's
more
when it's
cases
gonna
during
happen, when people are
COVID.
on it.
Imagine, same thing for, say, domestic violence survivors or victims, child sexual abuse or child abuse, we saw a huge increase because you're stuck at home with your offender, so.
When they went back to school after being at home, that was a jump, a big increase in cases, because they got away from their abuser, they got back to school, and I had one case, a child who was being sexually abused at home by a parent, was removed, of course, put in foster care in another school district on a bus, and another child overheard her and gave that child the courage to come forward because the same thing was being done to her.
Any more questions?
I'm not surprised the federals, they're a bunch of lame brains up there. They got their priorities mixed up, so, it's a real shame. It's a real shame. But yeah, I agree with Judge.
Well, in addition to the pandemic, there was also deferred prosecution, non-prosecution agreements, which exacerbated that loophole for sure.
I have 3 cases that came to light after the COVID period that we're still awaiting trial.
Now,
Groups, throughout, the entirety of their experience. They're assigned a victim advocate when they arrive at the center, and so even if it's years before they go before a court, if it goes before a court, a lot of these plea out, we are in touch with that child and their family throughout the entirety of the process.
Well, one thing that we could do that would be even more effective than double, tripling, and quadrupling what we're currently giving, which is you're multiplying that 1,500. You double it, it's 3. You quadruple it, it's 12. That only goes so far when you're talking about $214,000 that y'all have lost in funding over 2 years. We need to be advocating to Rand Paul to get this back in the budget and properly funding those things. And so, maybe a letter from this court to our Congress people would
also be a whole lot more helpful. I mean, you know, maybe one
Absolutely.
letter could generate you another $200,000, get you back to where you were pre-pandemic, you know, levels, or what was it, started in 2021. So, you know, if we could get back to the 2021 number, that increases your funding by $213,000.
Right, you hit the nail on the head.
A
It's an
letter-
election year.
A letter we can
Yeah.
do without a budget change, you know, or waiting to July 1 to amend or to adopt this into the new budget. I mean, the judge's office could put a letter together and we could vote on it and pass that resolution and
Amanda,
send
this is close.
that to Rand Paul and other Congress members and hopefully get you, they got $200,000 sitting somewhere. I
Absolutely.
promise you.
Right, we would greatly appreciate
I
that.
mean,
That
The
is
quicker we can
a
get
wonderful
cash in
idea,
y'all's
and we thank you.
budget, the better. You know, if that could happen, you know,
Absolutely.
February 1, that'd be great. You know.
Well, just know I'm working on legislative action myself. I'll be in Frankfurt tomorrow, meeting with Senator Gibbons. There are other things, it's not just the funding, like, for example, forensic interviews are actually not admissible in the sense that they consider it hearsay. I don't know how in the world you would consider a child having the courage to tell their story and it being recorded for the sole purposes, you know, for the purposes of court action. For there to be this loophole for criminals to get out of, to where it's considered hearsay. That's something that I would be working on at the state level. So there are levels of legislative action that need to occur with funding, but also just policy that exists around these cases that seem to protect our offenders more than children. So.
Can I ask an uncomfortable, really uncomfortable question?
Mhm.
What age are we talking about mainly? Because I know your teenagers get mad at somebody and they'll say things because they're mad at them.
Well, that's where you have to be very
What
vigilant.
you're talking about, that he said, she said, hearsay thing.
It's typically
So-
age 3
Okay.
up through
No, I'm not talking about
17.
threes. I'm talking about how much, just guess, of your percentage is like 12 and up.
The majority of my cases are 12 and under.
Okay. That's what I needed to know, because having taught teenagers, I know sometimes they're angry and,
Oh, yeah, I get the teenage cases. I've recently charged for false reporting.
yeah. 'Cause I know that they will do that if they're really mad at mom or dad, and then you've got a real uncomfortable situation. Okay, thank you. I know that. I needed to hear that in
Yes, ma'am.
court, mainly 12 and under.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, and just understand also that, like, with our medical examinations, we have equipment called a Cortex Flow machine that takes the pictures, right? It is incredibly non-invasive.
Okay.
So we do everything we can, and when that child enters our space, they know that they are in charge of their body. For example, if they're not comfortable, they don't want a medical, we don't do the medical. It's their decision what they want to do, whether or not they want to talk in a forensic interview. Obviously, we want that for the child because it helps them on down the line, right? But we're not here to re-traumatize either. So, you know, it's a balancing act for sure.
But it's still very helpful. Me as the investigator, I'm in the observation room watching through circuitry, and I'm observing the child while they're talking and while they're telling. I had a sexual abuse case on an autistic child, and you could when they would get close to questions pertaining to his perpetrator, he would physically move away from the interviewer. And then she would change the subject to get back to something that
Easier.
and he would re-engage. That helps me in my case. Whether
Very
he
balanced.
talks about it or not, that helps me.
Oh, that's
Just the
good.
body language.
Yep.
Lee, we thank you for all your work.
Absolutely.
Laura, thank
I'm
you
gonna
for all
need
your
extra
work.
copies here.
Thank you for bringing this to my,
I'd also like to add that the Child Advocacy Center does fundraisers, over the edge, and I encourage everybody to go off the edge of that building with me next October.
Yeah, we actually have a
It
great,
was a lot of fun.
which
Believe
is
it
a
or not.
motorcycle run, road motorcycle
Thanks to
race,
Paula.
in April. and
You repelled,
we'll see
in other
it.
I did.
Social media.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Paula was supposed to, but she couldn't, and so she called me and she said, would you? I said,
Rappel off the
absolutely.
building.
Absolutely. Steve, you did that often with her?
It never works out.
Thank you for all.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Appreciate what y'all do.
All right, thank you once again. Let's move on to approval of
Yep.
bills.
Shoot them at wheels, what I think.
Motion to approve the bills.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Next up, treasurer's report. Miss Amanda, please come give us some delightful news.
Good morning, Court.
Morning.
I don't have a whole stack today. I do have a couple pieces, though. On your iPad, you should have the budget transfers that we need to get approved for today.
Motion to approve.
Second. The corner training, is that completed?
No, we have training we have to do every year. We have 18 hours that's required every year, but we've got a master's level course that's coming up in June, I think it is, and that completes our major training. And then after that, it's just the general stuff, year to year, 18 hours every year.
Good.
Do we,
A motion to approve the budget transfers totaling $15,950.53.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Any further discussion?
Did I make a motion?
I think you did.
I made a
Oh,
motion.
well,
Yeah,
I
you
seconded that
seconded
motion.
Maybe
She thirded.
We got a third today, whoo.
All right, well, we just made sure we had that one covered. No
Bet you it
other
passes.
discussion. Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Sorry, I
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
And I do have 3 cash transfers today. We need to transfer $175,000 from the occupational net profits tax to the jail fund.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Scheduled transfer.
Sorry.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
We need to transfer $15,000 from the occupational net profits tax fund to the LGEA fund.
So moved.
I have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
And we need to transfer $85,000 from the occupational net profits tax fund to the 911 fund.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
That's all I have for you today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you, Amanda.
All right, next up is road work, let's try this in English now. Road work request, District 1.
District 1, we talked about a couple things out there. 079 Luke said you're gonna get with somebody on that drainage issue again, and then maybe check out 1,000 Dennis Raid, see if there's something we can do on the right of way to help him out. Water washing over on him, so. Other than that, continue maintenance. Appreciate everything. Appreciate all the work and stuff y'all do with snow removal. I know y'all is at it every day, and appreciate y'all.
That it has. District 2.
Yeah, thank y'all for all the snow removal. And, we talked about it. When they, do the rocking for the post office and stuff, if they can level a little bit better, that'd be great. But everything else is great. Thank you.
District 3.
Hey, thanks for all the snow removal. One question, I guess, is there a deadline about the flex funds and flex road candidate submission?
The quicker the better. How far along are you on that?
I'm not.
Oh.
So I was just was curious.
I don't think there's really any, but I'd like to get it done as quick as possible. That way we could go ahead and get it on the books before spring.
Okay. But otherwise, continue.
All right. That way we can get it into the proper chain and they can get out and check and approve it. District 4.
Same thing, continue maintenance. Thanks for all the hard work during the snow.
District 5.
There's that group of stumps on Aston Appling where you tried to widen that curve, you know where I'm talking about? Because it was a 90-degree and the farm trucks couldn't get through there without crushing the new concrete on the guy on the other side. So we tried to widen that up. And of course, there's a group of stumps right where the widest part needed to be. Is there no way to get past those stumps or ground them out? I know that's asking too much, isn't it?
I just don't have to look at it and see, maybe utilities or something really was like, I can't remember reading it.
Oh, y'all done a little work lately. Well, it's just you widened it because the trucks were having to go on the man's brand new concrete, cracking it, breaking it. So he asked if we could widen it. Property owner on the other side said, fine. He even said, the postal department even said they could move the mailbox on the other side, fine. But then there's a little couple stumps right there at the where it needed to be the widest part. So I don't know, I'm not trying to add to your job or tell you your job for sure. But if that little stump grove could just be, of course, I don't know whether you all have a grinding out thing. Yeah. So that's, yeah, it's just right at that, where Aston Appling does that. It's right there. And there's some stumps right there. Otherwise, I can't thank you enough. And New Valley? Let me tell you, if everything you all do made people as happy as New Valley Road, you'd be getting cookies. Thank you.
Wait a minute, cookies? District 6.
Man, you ought to see it. It's unbelievable.
I don't know how to talk cookies, man. Really, all I can say is thank you, man. Y'all did a fantastic job with the snow, and I appreciate your quick response to everything I asked you for, and tell your crew that we really appreciate what they did. Thank you very much. Continue maintenance.
That is the truth. During this snow and ice, they worked tirelessly and they done a great job. I'm proud of every one of them.
Doing in the truck, they done a good job. And the rookie was the guys. I think they done a really good job.
They did. They did a great job. They put it down. They were out. I got more compliments on the roads than I have anything else. So I'm happy with them.
Yeah, people called me, and I said, I'm not the one to thank. I said, trust me. They said, thank you, thank you, thank you.
That's right. That's right.
Make a motion to accept the road work request.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Jamie. No further discussion. Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wheelcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Golden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
On my flex funds, Judge,
Yes, sir.
I really don't, I have enough money to take care of what I need to take care of, so if somebody has a need, you know, that they don't have enough money to complete what they want to get done, I think I have $15,000, maybe a little less.
Thank you.
you can, I think the last couple of years I've given it to Jason, so if you got one, Jason.
Tyler's looking at Jason like, no.
District 4 has been neglected for many, many years, though, but anyhow, if there is, I'm impartial, if there is a project you don't have enough flex dollars to get it done,
I paved most of Dennis
I will
Road.
consider donating the rest of
I'm
mine.
gonna use Flex to do the rest of Dennis Road, but it probably ain't gonna be enough, so.
I'll work-
Jason, get your grimy little hands off of it.
We can talk about it, whoever's buying lunch.
We'll keep that in mind, and I appreciate you
Yeah, I
allowing
just,
that.
that
Thank you.
way, help y'all to figure out what you can and
That
can't
will
do.
help tremendously.
I got
Thank
enough
you.
funds to take care of what I need to take care of.
All right, elected official time. Sheriff Stratton, do you have anything for us?
Actually, I don't have anything today.
Okay.
Good job.
I wanted to I wanted to
Yes,
say.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you to Sheriff Stratton, personal, it was a personal thing. My daughter lost some money at the sheriff's department, and he came in real quick and looked on cameras, and he's got two really sweet ladies that found her money.
There you go. That's a great department down
You
there.
didn't keep a finder's fee, did you?
No.
They're a great department.
That was very nice of those women to walk out in that cold to find my daughter's money, so thank you.
That was great. Thank you, Sheriff. Next, Clerk, Sheriff, Stacy Watkins.
I would like to invite Denise to come up here. We do have some good news. We're kind of working together on a project.
Real good news, by
I'm
the
gonna let
way.
her tell you guys.
So we've talked extensively over, I think, the last 6 to 8 months at court and with Stacy about this grant that she helped us with KDLA. And we are so excited to share that. No, okay, you got it right here. We got it Friday. Stacy got it Friday, but we didn't find it until yesterday. On behalf of the Logan County Archives, she wanted this so bad. Clerk Stacy Watkins has secured a grant in the amount of $75,182.42 for all of the storage issues that we have, and a scan, an overhead scan that we can use to scan all these records. So, needless to say, we are going to need to shut down the archives for a little bit of time so that we can move everything around, because we're about to destroy the inside of what the vault looks like, except for this steel structure, and then put it back together and make it more easier, more safer for the volunteers, for our older staff members. We're going to bring all the books down from upstairs, put all the lightweight stuff upstairs. We're going to be able to create more room at the clerk's office by getting the old things that she doesn't really need to hold on to, but needs to hold on to, over into our space. Mm-hmm. It's also going to create room for the fiscal court records that need to go into storage.
Absolutely.
To come into our building and be more accessible.
We can't forget to mention Miss Carrie
Yes.
Holloman. I mean, it's been a group effort, but Carrie, bless her heart, she's got insomnia. She has stayed up and worked on this thing for nights. I think we submitted an 800-page grant to them to get this done.
They didn't want to get another one of those.
They were like, let's give them this money so we don't have to read this again.
They told Stacy that they kept putting paper in the printer thinking that this would cover it, and it just kept coming and it kept coming and it kept coming. So they unofficially gave us the unofficial award for the longest grant ever submitted.
Did they really?
Yes, they did. Yes, they really did. So
they did.
If you're wondering what Carrie has been doing since we hired her last summer, this is what she has spent all of her time on up until the grant deadline.
So she's happy.
So we are all ecstatic.
Very excited.
When Stacy called me yesterday and I called Carrie and told Carrie, she's like, no, we didn't. I'm like, no, we really did.
We really did?
I'm like, we really did. She said, I've convinced myself that we didn't get it. I said, well, I almost had to.
I want to say that KDLA is very, very difficult to get grant money from. I mean, they are one of the hardest ones to apply for. And I mean, this was our first go around with them, but we had been told at many clerk meetings, don't even try. There's no point. You're not going to get it. So this is a huge accomplishment for Logan County to get that money. We'll be on the map because of it, because nobody ever gets any of their money. $75,000.
Over $75,000. And we probably need to also thank Rebecca Haldmeyer, who is the regional KDLA representative, because she did visit the archives, and she said to Carrie and I when she talked to us that I see your need, and you are right, and I will advocate strongly for you during the commissioner selection meeting. So it's definitely been a team effort to make this happen, so.
I was gonna beg y'all for it in the budget meetings. I was gonna beg for this money, so we're really glad to have it. And y'all did a phenomenal job, and I'm just really, really excited to see
For your
this.
efforts.
We appreciate
That's
it.
awesome.
So, and the plus side to this grant is the company that they did approve for the high-density mobile shelving is the company that down the road, when we say, hey guys, we need more space, they offer a second deck. So if you've all been in the space, on the left side of the building, it's open from the floor to the ceiling. They'll be able to construct a second deck in that space because we had to show the ability for growth in the grant, and that is the way that we were showing the ability for growth is so this grant is giving us the main level of shelving, but in the future when we do need that more space, we can go up into that wasted space.
Great.
So future imaging companies.
Yes, it's very exciting. I mean, we are looking at legislature has required us to be digitalized, and it's coming up soon. And Logan County has such rich history. We have we are very unique in the state of Kentucky as far as the documents that we have custody of. Well, we don't want to lose those.
No,
we do not want to lose those.
And to what Stacy's saying, to just kind of hammer on the unique point a little more, Logan County's records that we have in our possession encompass the entire western end of Kentucky, 30 counties worth. Mm-hmm. And we really have to thank the clerks, the circuit clerk and the county clerk in the 70s and 80s who said to the state, no, you can't have our records.
We're not going to send them up to your public library. We're keeping them here.
Yeah, so we really have them to thank for getting us where we are with what we have. But because of what we do have, my main concern has been, what if we're the next Mayfield and we lose the archives in some sort of disaster? We do have a lot of records that were never recorded. So it's our responsibility to make sure that those records are secure and preserved and they last longer than anything that humans can cause problems at or that Mother Nature can throw at us.
So my grandmother, Becky Bolden, worked at the clerk's office, Doc Beecham and all them. And
Henrietta.
I promise you, she raised $900 worth of cane to make sure that they didn't leave. I'm
sure that she did.
If you know her, she raised a lot of cane.
We're very proud of you guys, and I mean it is. There's a lot of need. There's so much need in Logan County. I mean, everywhere we look, there's need, and this is just huge because we are aware there's a lot going on, and monies and things, dollars need to be spent. So we're just really excited to get some of that tax money back into Logan County.
Absolutely.
Thank you, ladies.
Absolutely.
Stacy, do you have anything?
You guys, I would really like to get the word out that it's a nightmare in my office sometimes. It's not going well. There's still a lot that we're unable to do. There's a lot we can do. It is getting better, but it is a nightmare. Yesterday we saw wait times of over an hour. My heart breaks for some of our local dealers through no fault of their own. They're unable to get... So a bank isn't going to give them a check for a car until they get a goldenrod to take to the bank to release those funds. And through no fault of their own, we can't get those transferred because of glitches in the software.
The new system.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm going to be completely honest. It was not ready to be launched, and it's very difficult, trying time for us down there. I can't thank everyone enough for how patient everyone has been. Anyone watching, if you've been in and you've dealt with those crowds that we've been dealing with, I appreciate your patience.
But that's not your fault that it wasn't ready.
No.
That's
No,
the
it's
state's.
not. But I do take it home. I mean, these are
Yeah.
people, that these are our neighbors. These are people that have supported me in very trying seasons down there in that office, and it is it's heart-wrenching because $25,000 to me, if I didn't get that, that check from the bank, my bills wouldn't, so it's a difficult time for us down there. A lot of things we can do, but there are some things we can't do. So everybody just be prepared to come in. I've been saying it, bring a snack, charge your phone, bring a magazine. You might be with us a while. Even if you don't wait in line a while, you might be sitting there watching us just trying every possible way we can think of to work around some of these bugs and get your transaction done.
I think it's important for the public to know that your ladies down there and y'all.
We're doing all we can.
Doing all you can. It's not y'all's fault. Y'all are just.
And it's across the state.
Y'all are using what the state gives you.
Yes,
so.
we are. And then also, I would like to remind everyone, we are going to go ahead and resume our, you know, we had to kind of switch because of holidays. We're going to resume our last Saturday of the month schedule. Anyone that is planning on coming, if you see a notice on your card that says see PVA, please see that PVA. I cannot help you if you have not got that taken care of. So sometimes on the tax segment, like maybe it's just missing a value or something, and they just need to go in and put that assessment in, or a city code or a county code, something's missing, so it says CPVA. I cannot hit those buttons from my office. You've got to see the PVA. Normally, we don't mind to call it for you if you're sitting in front of us, but on Saturday, we would be unable to. They're unavailable. So, okay, I think that's enough.
Thank you,
Stacey.
Thank you, Stacey. Thank you for your hard work.
I'd like to add something real short, kind of to Stacy's situation. There's been a lot of questions about my tags are expired, what's gonna happen, am I gonna get a ticket? And you're not gonna get a ticket if your tags ran out in December and you couldn't get in because of the system. You know, there is a grace period always anyway. However, if you're 2 months and out longer, your chances are greatly increased that you could receive a ticket for that. But we're aware that the issues are having of people getting their tags renewed quickly, and that is always taken in consideration. It's even more heightened now. So for the public's concern and questions we've received, that you will not get a ticket. I can tell you the sheriff's office is made very aware that we're not to issue tickets to those people that are just recently expired and are trying to get into the new system. We also are aware that even with the new system, there seems to be some bugs when we run a tag that it's not coming back correctly, or, you know, that's part of the bugs I think the clerk and them across the state are having. So we are that. The Sheriff's Association sent out a bunch of information, keeps us in that loop, as well as our clerk keeps us in the loop. So for those that may be watching, to kind of spread that, you know, you're okay. There's always a grace period anyway, but we're extremely aware of the situation. So just get them as quick as you can.
Thank you, Sheriff.
I would also just say as a caveat, though, not every department might be as gracious as you.
I can tell you what I'm in charge of. So, but because of the association, I know sheriffs are communicating across the state, and the local police departments are too. But again, I can tell you what we are promoting and watching.
All right. Thank you, Sheriff. Next up, Jailer Joshua Tammy.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning.
As of this morning, our count was 161. We had 97 on the county side. We've got 61 total state, 39 on Class D alone, and then 3 out of county.
97, which one was that?
The county side, yes ma'am. And all I've got this morning is a personnel action request. My other topics are covered in new business.
Josh, while you're up there and we're in the silence, you got any updates on the facility you'd like to talk about?
We've been working with HMC, trying to work out all our plumbing snafus. Of course, we had to redo all the state side, and we had really good luck with those showers, and all those materials worked out. We've had zero trouble. However, on the county side, it's a different system, to where they've got a push button timer system we've got what we call a mixing valve set up in our boiler room that mixes the water, and it comes out at a certain temperature. For on the county side, on the secure side, they can't adjust it themselves, the water temperature themselves. That system does it for them, and it's supposed to be quality system. However, we've had a lot of trouble with these Medcraft parts and it breaking down, and then we have showers that have to be, have to stop that one, and then when we have to pull people out one at a time, take them to another location to get them a shower one at a time. It's a pain. It causes issues with morale, but we're trying to work through that. Hopefully, if the company cannot rebuild them this time, and they continue to work like they're supposed to, they're going to honor their warranty. Hopefully, we'll get our money back, and we look at putting on the county side what we did on the state side, which is a Delta faucet system that's they can regulate their temperature themselves. It seemed like a solid part. It's a little bit more expensive. However, we've had zero issues since installing it. But it's a struggle. Every day it's something. When you've got 160 something people, they've got to be offered a shower when they want it, and morale definitely goes down when things aren't working as it should, whether it be toilet, sink, showers, whatever the case may be. We're trying to keep that going. Same thing with issues with moisture. There's not a lot of ventilation. That's created trouble with our lighting. We're having trouble finding fluorescent lights. Everybody's switching over to LED, but when your ballast goes out because of too much moisture, because there's no ventilation, there's no exhaust in there, that creates trouble too. Electricity does not like moisture, right? So it's a work in progress every day. It's something new, and I've got a list of stuff we're working on, because every day is trying to get closer to the next inspection. It's that time of year. I expect the jail inspector to be in March, April time for our first inspection for the year, and we get dinged on everything. I want our certificate of occupancy. I don't want us to get dinged because we don't have the proper lighting. Our sinks and toilets aren't working. I'm trying to stay on top of it, but it's an adventure every day for sure. That's an old building. It's got to have some attention put into it. So, and we're trying.
Make a motion to approve the personal action request for Sarah Rogers, effective January 22nd, 2024. Should be going from the base schedule LC-DC-1s as part-time to full-time with stipend LC-DC-1S4 with 0 years experience.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Do I have any discussion?
Is it usual to go from part-time deputy to full-time captain?
We had very few people interested in promotion. This young lady took a position where she had prior experience in management, supervision, loss prevention, security field, but she was helping us out with something else when she was hired last year. However, she started enjoying the job, wanting to train with other supervisors. She applied, put in a letter of intent, interviewed and applied, took a test, and she was the one selected out of the. But we had some people are comfortable staying as a floor deputy. You got some that don't want to promote. However, she did, and she was selected. So she's done an outstanding job, and she strives to learn every day. She really enjoys the work. She's good with the inmates. She's going to do very well.
Well, good. Okay. Does this go to Phil?
Y'all make a motion and say.
Yes. If no further, is there any more discussion?
No.
Thank you.
If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Anything else, sir?
No.
Thank you, sir.
Other stuff is a code.
Okay.
Next up, Ben Kemplin Corner. Do you have anything other than part of our cooler finally got here?
Part of the cooler showed up, the other part should be here today.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you, Ben. All right, let's move on to department heads. I'm going to go ahead and bring up animal shelter. Eric Tucson.
Good, that worked.
Yes, close enough. Sorry, man. I miss it every time.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Eric, how
nice
are
to
ya?
see you guys for the first time here as the actual director. I just have a few things to go over. I'd really like to give an update on the past 2 weeks, what we've gotten done. The upstairs, I don't know, you guys went through today, and I thank you for that, and I encourage everybody else to come through. We're working our tails off out there. Upstairs, the front reception area, when we took over, was cluttered and full of just stuff. We have a desk up there. We have a donation box. It's cleared out. We do have a little spot for a couple cats, so it does look user-friendly. We're looking at doing some painting, some stuff that they had. We just got to kind of do that. But overall, the smell's pretty gone. So that's a huge deal for us. The office area, we're going through a mess that for years of paperwork that have just been sitting there. We're trying to get through that. The first room on our left, we're trying to make that into a visitation room. That again was just a pile of mess. We're working on that to get things out that need to be out of there and put in there so we have a nice visitation room so people come in, they'll have a nice place they can hang with the dog or the cat and have a good time with them. The second door on the right, we're trying to turn into a general storage room. It is a storage room, but it needs to be helped and cleaned out, and we're in the process of working on that. General maintenance needs upstairs, just some broken outlets that we're gonna a few things just to replace. Lights and ceiling fans are old, just kind of don't look very presenting. Those are pretty easy, simple fixes. We're gonna try to take care of those. We have broken tile. I did find it in a drawer, which is kind of where we're finding things. The broken tiles that were off the floor, they're just set they were in a drawer. So we're going to try to find someone to come out and maybe help us and donate their time just to replace the tiles. Pretty simple fix, pretty easy, and it's going to make it look that much nicer. The only other bigger things, we're going to put some baseboard down. There's a hole. That's just some of the smaller stuff. The only other big things that will come back at another time is the windows. The windows there are really beat up and not in good shape, and they're letting in a lot of air. It's usable. They're not broken. They just aren't, they're old. And whether we fix them or we don't fix them, but that's just an area of need. And we did find out yesterday the heat turned off, and we were wondering why. I now realize we have a propane heater. We ran out of propane. We have the propane coming today. So we'll have our heat back on, which is great. Exactly. It was cold.
I'm glad it ran out yesterday.
Exactly. I'm glad it ran out yesterday, not this last weekend. So it's been bearable. It's been in the 40s at least, not in the teens and below. So
right.
we were bearable. So downstairs, our quarantine room, and we are as of July or January 12th, the center is parvo free of dogs. So that's a great deal. Yep. We did take the quarantine room and we scrubbed and cleaned and bleached and kennel salted and did all the procedures to clean that out. And the mess that was in there was pretty substantial. We took all that out, trashed all the stuff that was, I don't even know what it was. So that was gone. We just need to move the wash tub around to make that user friendly. We did move out some more puppy cages, and we're going to take that room and use that as our little puppy room. In the back room back there, we're going to turn that into our medical room. As soon as we get we're getting good processes happening, but we can't fully do all of our processes until we have everything in line and cleaned and ready to roll. Our inside kennels, we now do have a process that we all follow to do our cleaning. We are changing some processes that happen. I can explain that a little bit. We'll go quick because I don't want to take up time, but we're hoping 8 to noon. We come in, we're going to clean our kennels. At noon, we open to the public. At 3 o'clock, we're gonna shut down. We feed our dogs, we close out, and we go home. Obviously, we don't wanna feed the dogs. The process before is you would clean the kennel, feed the dogs, and as soon as they eat, they go to the bathroom. So then, while we were open to the public, the kennels weren't looking as fresh as they could. So we changed that process, so now we're feeding them after we close, so when they do their business, it's not during our hours. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. We added a 3-compartment sink, which is a great, huge help to us down our line to help to, so we can clean our bowls and do everything properly in a quick, easy manner. We don't have to go walk a mile away to get to our other 3-compartment sink. We did have our septic cleaned out yesterday, which is great, and we are set up on a quarterly basis, and I thank the judge for making that happen. The needed repairs, we did get the cages. They came out and they fixed our cages, so our cages are looking, we don't have any dogs trying to sneak out, so the cages are looking nice. The outside runs, I did fix some of the outside runs for that were, obviously dogs don't like to be in a cage. They do everything they can to get out. So we're patching and repairing as we go. I don't think we need to do anything but patch and repair, because you try to fix it, it's going to get ripped anyway, so we just patch and repair, and we're fine with that. We do now have 21 outside kennels. We did repair a kennel, so we are fixed and ready to roll. Unfortunately, they're all being used.
Yes.
We got our security lights fixed, and we added another one, so now at night we have a big night light that shows all the dogs in the kennels, and another light that is on for the front of the building. So now that's not dark and dim, and hopefully people see that maybe they shouldn't be dropping their dogs off in the middle of the night. We're hoping.
Correct.
So that's the good stuff. That's where we're at. That's what we're getting to. But our needs, we need help. I've been there since I've started, in 3 days before, every day, 7 days a week. I clocked in 111 hours, what I turned in the past 2 weeks. My wife, so graciously, has volunteered with me basically every day.
Yes.
So that's amazing. If you're out there, it's a mess. We're cleaning it. We're doing everything we can, but we need help.
Exactly.
I do have Mary. She's my full-time employee right now. She's amazing. She's been there basically 7 days a week, and I'm trying to get her out so she's staying within her hours. She's been right around 40, but I've been kicking her out, so she stays within her hours. So she's been helping. Michael, our other part-time, he's had some medical issues. I would really, really help if we could get 2 more part-times. I could use another part-time kennel help. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
A part-time kennel help to alleviate, and we have our processes. So 8 to noon, 7 days a week, I'd have a part-timer. 8 to noon, 5 days a week. Mary, my full-time, 5 days a week. My next part-timer would come in and alleviate those 2 days, so they can have their 2 days off. And then to hopefully help me, we get another part-timer to come in and help with doing the paperwork and doing the other stuff that I'm hopefully one day going to be able to do besides getting this place up and running. But if we could get those 2 done, that would make our day. And I did talk to Mr. Toomey over here to help us with some inmates. We've discussed and we've had a good conversation of what we need. As I said, I want a process set so our inmates are not in direct contact with any public. I think that's very important. So that's why we're changing our hours to noon to 3. If we could get the inmates, they'd come from 8 to noon. They'd be gone by noon. Whether we're done with the kennels or not, 8 to noon, they would be there helping us get the kennels in order. They'd leave. We'd open to the public. There'd be any funny business with the public and the inmates. They'd be under direct control of the kennel techs. We would go through the class or the video in the class that the jailer has for everybody to how to handle them. We did find 4 working walkie-talkies, which was pretty amazing. So if we do have an issue, I'll be within an earshot. If they do need to use the restrooms, they could call me. I'd come take them, bring them up to the restroom, just so there is nobody that is non-supervised.
Correct.
I hope and I would think that, you know, this plan is a good plan, and it is almost a necessity unless we're going to hire more people.
Correct.
Because without the help of the inmates, then we're back at square one, and we're working our part-time employees and our full-time employee that much harder because they have to now physically do all that labor within that time limit, and it's almost impossible. Other than that, that's all I'm asking for.
So with
So
that
far.
with that being said, the court last meeting approved to hire the 2 part-time positions he's talking about. What I'm going to ask for the court is permission to go ahead and hire those 2, if it's with the court. Eric is literally drowning out there. He's spending most of his time doing what these part-time people be doing versus doing the management and the supervising jobs that we have hired him for.
Well, and, you know, Eric has brought in what we've been needing
Absolutely.
for a long time, which is leadership.
Absolutely.
And in his short amount of time he's been here, the plans he's laid out, and the hard work he's done, I mean, no comparison to anybody we've had there as a director working for the county for sure. But, you know, I've sat in on some meetings, me and Jason and the judge and Eric, and we met with Toomey last week about getting some more inmates out there. And I think, you know, there were some issues a few months ago with inmates being out there or whatnot, and I think we had to like sit back for a little while, figure out what we're doing, and then Eric presented a very good plan to Jailer Toomey and us. What he just mentioned to everybody else, the 8 to 12, and I think that's, you know, I think he's shown that that would definitely work with the inmates, and Jailer Toomey said he's going to go back and talk to some other people at the jail about that issue. I just curious where we were on that process. Where are we on that with the request he made?
We're gonna sit down and discuss this some more and get the training out of the way that you need for you, if you want to start with just you, or whoever
Yes.
first, to get the training that you need to supervise, but, before we move forward.
Okay. Is there a day or time? I mean, like I said, we'll discuss. Perfect.
We'll figure out the schedule that works out for everybody.
Perfect.
Well, the sooner the better. I mean, you know, because it's critical that we have those bodies, regardless if they're incarcerated inmates or volunteers, we need those bodies out there. And, you know, as I've said 2 things in prior time, you know, it is good for the jail, if properly ran, that program ran, that those inmates are out contributing to society.
Correct.
You know, it's healthy for the inmate. It's a good, happy person to now have to incarcerate, which makes Toomey's and staff job better. When that incarcerated person gets out, it looks really good on your resume that, yeah, I was incarcerated, but you know what? I did this for 6 months or a year, whatever the time is. You can contact Eric, you can contact the judge, you can contact Toomey. You know, I worked at the, you know, animal shelter. I've talked to a bunch of people since the last 2 weeks about, you know, what a plus that was. That, you know, hey, if I had an inmate that applied and he'd been working 6 months out to Humane Society, you know, it makes me feel good about employing him.
Right.
You know, and
And I hear the concerns, and that's where
we have to
I heard
address
the concerns,
security and
and
safety
that's
first.
why we've come up with this plan to
Yeah.
to do everything in our power to
The quicker we can
to
get
stop
that
that from
implemented,
happening.
the better. And then the other side of it, you know, I'm not voting. I can tell you and the judge here again, $160,000 a year in payroll, I'm not voting to spend another dime. You're not getting a yes vote from me for another dime on payroll. You know, now other things need to be done. I'm willing to spend money on it. You want to build a new building? I'm all for it. You know, I've been saying that for years. But there's no reason for payroll when we have a resource for.
Right, I agree, we don't need extra payroll, but we still need people in the facility to oversee, to make sure that the inmates are being, because I think that was part of a big issue too, is the inmates were being brought in and were supposed to be being overseen by people and weren't. So I want to make sure we have the people in place where it takes away some of our labor, but we still cannot just, we have to have labor there to make sure we're overseeing the inmates.
And that 160 are covered. That's what these
100%.
two part-time people were in, that 160.
Right, if we get that, and we get the inmates, that's going a long way to where we need to be.
It gets us moving forward to find,
So
again.
Right.
160 covers the two he needs now.
That's
Yes.
correct. We've already
I was
voted.
gonna
We've
say-
already voted on
We
that.
I was
voted on that
thinking we
last
had,
court.
but I was
Right.
gonna say, are you telling me you're not gonna vote
Yeah.
for it?
There's no magic to the 160. That was just quick math in my head. It
Right,
may
and-
be
and-
140,
I was gonna say, I
it
gotta
may be
make sure I understand what you're
147.50.
talking about.
You'll have to
Right.
get with Amanda. for that
Right, and the
exact
sooner we
number.
can get that done,
My
'cause-
point is, these two part-time gets us approximately to about 160.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, are you now telling me you're not gonna vote for him, but.
No.
So we talked
All
about
those
that at the
positions
last
are already
court
voted
meeting.
on.
Right, and we made approval to go ahead and hire the full-time. We already had a part-time in place, we hired to make a part-time a full-time. Now I'm asking for permission to go ahead and hire the two part-time.
Yeah, and
Because
Thomas,
we
you're
didn't
not
give you the
that.
permission.
Because he didn't give me
last time.
permission
I was
then,
gonna say-
yes.
160
Okay, I thought you were telling me a new thing, okay, all right.
So when are we gonna do that, right now?
Yeah.
Right now,
Okay.
One question,
yes, ma'am.
where does the Humane Society, because I've had a lot of calls, where does the Humane Society work into that?
Well, I can kind of answer some of those questions.
Please.
I was at their meeting last night. They have one employee right now. The crossroads and the big is who's doing what and what's doing who. So as of today, all I'm asking the Humane Society to do is take care of the cats and help us with adoptions. That is being somewhat done.
Somewhat.
And we're taking care of all the dogs. So with their help, they're helping adopt dogs out. It's a slower process than I would prefer and I would like. I don't know if it's a process side on their side or if it's a drag their feet side, because there's no urgency, because they don't have to have the labor to take care of what we're doing. I'm not sure. I'm not, criticizing anybody or on their side. I just know that the partnership is they're taking care of the cats and helping out with on the adoption side to get the animals out of our facility.
We are hoping by next meeting, which is the first meeting in February, Eric and I are going to sit down and we're going to have a laid out plan for the relationship between the two entities.
I
That
thought they had
is
two
our
people.
plan.
They no longer have two people. I thought they had two people that,
They have one
Humane
employee.
Society is still in a rebuilding mode.
okay.
So,
So
we
we threw in the towel.
So, yeah, that's why I threw in the towel last meeting. So, for a long time, we had so many issues with them not fulfilling the contract. We was giving them $120,000 a year. That's when we decided to take it on ourselves, because they needed to just rebuild process. And I think they started with a clean slate, and I think they're moving in the right direction. I've talked to Jason, he's on the board, and I think they're moving in the right direction. But either, at the end of the day, we still have a facility to take care of, and we can't wait on them to get their ducks in a row.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So
When
basically-
and if they have something to offer, they should come to us. We have the task of taking care of our KRS requirements, and that's what you're doing. If there's something that the Logan County Humane Society could offer to you and help, then they should come to you and present that to you. Otherwise, we do business and we move forward, okay? I have no contract with them anymore. I have no oversight. I have no insight of what direction they want to go and what their purpose in life is. And I don't have the time or energy for it, you know? I'm dealing with the judge and you now, and I think is a good thing. And hopefully one of these days they have rebuilt and they can go back to being a very positive functioning adoption agency, which is their biggest thing that they can do for us. But today we can't worry about that.
And it may be my willingness and thoughtfulness when I first took this job on, I thought we could have a great partnership. But I do believe at the end of the day, the best plan of action is a separation.
Agreed.
You know, I think they would probably agree. You know, from their meeting last night, I think they are wanting a way out, and I think we're wanting a way out.
A way out. Meaning
Just to separate. So they're in their own facility, we're in our own facility. Because right now, when you're in the same facility, it is who's doing what and what's doing who, and, you know, our responsibilities, I think we're far going past what our actual responsibilities are.
True.
And I'm 100% okay with it because we're doing it for the animals. And I think that's, you know, as long as that's our number one site and our goal is what we're doing is doing it for the animals, I think, you know, everything else kind of will work itself out if everybody's doing it right.
Is Julie still the one?
Yes.
Julie's still-
I think the bottom line is we cannot, the Logan County Animal Shelter cannot depend on one agency to move the animals. We have
Correct.
to reach out and we have to start adopting animals and we have to start working with rescues.
Right,
like
and in
Animal
order,
Shelter.
and in order to do that, that's why we need to go ahead and get these two part-time, which was already approved. I just need approval to go ahead and make the move to go ahead and hire him. That's gonna give Eric time to actually reach out and do the job we really hired him for.
And I also believe just not to belabor anything, but if we do start doing our own adopting out and we start doing our own intakes, because as of today, we do all the work and the Humane Society is getting the fruits of our labor by making the money for the adoption. When we adopt animals out,
Correct.
It goes into the Humane Society. When they take an animal in and they charge a surrender fee, that goes to the Humane Society. So basically, we are working to keep the facility in a presentable place, and then the Humane Society.
Are they still taking surrender fees today? Will they take a surrender fee and bring that animal to our shelter? Is that still going on?
We're trying to work it out with them. Like they said, I don't think they've had a person in that building that has had the control or. So I'm trying to put an end to that.
Okay.
Especially now, right now we have 90 total animals. We have 70 dogs. You know, we'd like to be at a max capacity of 40. We do have, you know, 50 if we're pushing it, but we do have 20 dogs that are on a seizure hold, so that's another big part of what we have to worry about.
When you say seizure hold, what does that mean?
We have from
There was a court case where
that
they
we took in.
seized animals, and we're in charge of.
So we're in charge of them until the court case gets settled, and they either release the dogs or the court releases them to us to be adopted out.
Okay, because I've had some calls about some dogs, and I've said, I don't know if y'all can take anymore.
Yeah, as of right now, what we're asking, if they call and they ask, can we surrender, we say honestly, right now, we're at full capacity. If there's any way, because as the judge says, everybody's using Facebook. If you could put on Facebook and say, hey, does anybody, you know, we're asking for that help from them. You know, because we do have cases where the animal control officer, our ACO officer goes out and we get those dogs in. So, and we have to take those in. So even if we're at full capacity, we still have to take those animals in. So we're working on not, as of today, not taking any.
See me before you leave, because there has been some relief on your big one, but I need to tell you exactly what the details are.
Okay, perfect, awesome.
So what do you do? We've had a pack of dogs that obviously were owned, and the homeowners and livestock owners, they're killing their small animals, and that's on Plainview Church Road.
Okay.
And now they've been calling me, and I said, well, I need to hear from you, and of course, the Humane Society about what, I said, I don't know if they can even pick them up now.
They need to call EOC.
They need to call, yes, they need to call the ACO officer. He goes out and he'll assess the situation. If it's a situation, from my understanding, that is a definite need to be resolved, he'll take that matter and he'll deal with that, and I guess through the sheriff and through everything else.
Strictly AOC, that's Travis?
Yes, Travis, yes. Yeah, the ACO, our animal control officer.
Okay, but what do they, okay, so I don't
They need
really.
to go through the EOC because they do a CAD on it, so there's a record of it, and that's how he answers the calls, is through the EOC.
Yeah, we give them, so if they call us, we give them the number to call, animal control to call the number, and then they make a call out, and then they do the corrective actions that need to be done.
Okay, so the question has been to me, but if they call him,
Yes.
can you take them anywhere? And that,
You know,
I
that's
don't-
gonna have
I'm
to
not
be,
hearing.
that's gonna have to be a bridge we're gonna have to cross.
Right, so that's a bridge that that is if
The answer is maybe.
yes, the answer is maybe.
Okay, call them back, it's baby.
It's very situational.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. It's situation by situation. So there's not a direct yes or a direct no. It depends on what the situation is and how dire the situation is.
Well, killing livestock's pretty
Yeah,
impressive.
agreed.
But you're compounded by, if you don't have the space, you
No,
don't
I
have the
know, that's
space.
what I've told them, I said, I know they don't have space, but
I need to make a motion.
Not too many people got livestock being killed, that dog's gonna get a phone call, I'll be honest with you. I don't know how many
baby lambs
farmers.
and baby road,
I
goats.
just don't know too many farmers. I don't know too many farmers who's making a phone
Allow the
call.
judge and
Oh, no, I've been
shelter
told they
director
want to take it
hire
into their
two
own
part-time
hands, and I said,
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what you're
You have-
talking about.
You have every right to protect your livestock. you
and
know.
I've said, well, I'm not gonna
Yes.
advocate for you to do that.
Well, I'm not either, but I mean.
And I've had that conversation too.
Neighbor's dog's getting my livestock.
I said, we can't accept it if they said,
It's just all it is to it.
you just have to do what you have to do, what's best for you.
Okay.
And we have to do what's best.
All right.
They asked me that, and I said, well, I've got
Different
time.
acting
All
like
right, I'll make a motion to allow the judge and the animal shelter director to hire two part-time employees.
Second.
I got a motion, a second. Is there any other discussion on this matter? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes,
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Eric, thank you for your
Eric, thank you
time.
for-
You're doing a
Appreciate
great
it.
job out there. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
You got two people lined up?
All right, let's look.
Call them.
I will. All right, I thank you guys.
Thank you, Eric. I'll talk to you soon. Let's see, let's move on. Ginger Lawrence, ECC.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just got a couple things today. February the 3rd is our cows testing at noon. Denise is going to print in the paper for me, but if y'all get any calls, we're testing them at noon. A bit of good news, just wanted to let y'all know that I have all my positions, even my part-time positions, full right now.
Good.
I've got one scheduled to leave for the academy February the 11th, and then that only leaves us 2 more to certify. But one of them hasn't started, she doesn't start till next week, so.
Great.
And I wanted to ask the court's permission. The Kentucky 911 Services Boards have opened up their grant procedures, and I'd like to have permission to apply for a grant. We've got a lot of expenses coming up and a lot of things that we need to replace, and if we can get some money for that.
Absolutely.
oh,
And I also, while we're at it, I did want to ask, I want to use the same grant writer we did last time because she did an awesome job.
oh,
When we
that's
got for
stupendous.
the,
For the CAD system,
system.
yes. She worked with me, and that took a lot of it off because there's a lot, she knows the wording that helps more than I do, and it was well worth the.
Well, I'm glad you're staffed enough now to where you can focus on some more of those things.
Yes.
So.
Do we
You
need
need a
a,
motion for that?
Do we have to have, before I've had to ask permission.
Yeah, let's go ahead and put a motion on the
What's
floor
the,
for
what's
that.
the, KD what?
Yeah.
What is it, Ginger?
It's the
Katie?
Kentucky 911 Services Board.
I'll make a motion to do that.
Second.
Totally.
Okay, I have a motion and a second for Ginger to apply for the grant
Yes.
and to hire the grant writer, correct?
Yes.
Okay, is there any other discussion?
No.
If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
And I don't have anything else unless y'all have anything for me.
Ginger, thank you for your work.
Thank you.
All right, next up is road supervisor. Do you have anything, Pee Wee?
No, we'll never do it.
Well, then,
I got,
come on up. I forget it. Personnel action request right there.
Thought of something, huh?
I guess we're
I
gonna
got it,
switch
dog.
hands here.
Relax, man, relax.
I'm pulling it up.
And we did get our new skid steer here today.
It did come in. Good.
Supposed to be.
Supposed to. Once again, tell all the guys out there, which I've told them day and day, that they've done a great job. At this point, I'm presenting a personnel action request to move Maurice Pee Wee to road supervisor.
Somebody asked me the other day what your name was.
Everybody asked me what his real name was. I go, I don't really
I
know.
liked it in the paper, it said Maurice Pee Wee. I was like, that's it! In the quotation.
I don't know who Maurice is.
I did not know. Somebody asked me what his first name was, and I said, I have zero idea until I looked at the paper. But anyway,
Stuck
personnel
with him
action
as a kid,
request.
and I've had it ever since.
Pee-wee? I like it.
Is he getting demoted?
Demoted?
Is that a demotion or a promotion?
He's going back to floor sweeper.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. Good job.
Make a
Leader,
motion
man.
to approve the personal action request for Maurice D. Pee Wee Rigsby. He will be going from the current stipend schedule of LC-RD-1S3 to stipend LC-RD-1S4 with 25 years of credited experience.
Awesome.
And that's going to be effective date, February the 1st, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If no further discussion, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. We'll do the best we can do for you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
All right, Archives, Denise Shoulders.
Can't top 75,000, we don't want to hear it.
Well, actually, now that we know we're getting $75,000 to improve the storage situation at the archives, I do have a couple of requests. We have some current cabinet filing systems that we need to get rid of so that we can move things around, and they are on our inventory. So we have 4 different units. One is a 6x6 drawer, one is a 6x7 drawer, and it's those old metal style. If you go into Stacy's office, you'll see them in the back behind the girls. That's what they are. Those are not really good for long-term storage on the record, so we need to surplus everything that we have left that we haven't already surplused, so that we can get those out of the building so that we can make room for the new. In doing that, I would like to request, though, that we be able to sell them and then apply those funds to other maintenance needs within the building. Rebecca Haldmeyer does have some connections within the, I guess, industry that will help us move those.
I think we'd have to put those out to bid. If you were to receive money for it, for the county to, I think we have to surplus it and put it out for bid and then accept bids for it.
Okay.
Unless you're transferring it to another government agency, I think we can receive money directly that way.
Okay, that's
But-
why I mentioned Rebecca, because she says she knows how we can move those.
Yeah,
So let me, if that's what we can do, let me get in touch with her, see what the
Yeah.
process is and what can be done.
Just get us a list of what it is, and we'll run it through Karen. Okay, we'll take that to Karen. Yeah, right. I knew better than to ask, but we'll run it through Karen. We'll get it
I
on
do
the
have
surplus list.
inventory numbers on two of them don't have inventory numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the other thing is this. In putting that high-density mobile shelving on the lower level, you guys should have a PDF in your tablets that include 3 bids.
Yes.
Those bids, Judge and I have talked about this, and then we realized that we have failed to bring it to you guys for full approval, so that is what I am standing here for today. So you should have a trio of bids for an HVAC system for the vault only. Now, if you're not familiar, we actually have 3 systems for the archives. There's one for the upstairs of the house, one for the main level of the house, and one for the vault. The only one that we're focusing on is the vault, which is the old jail space. That's what we refer to it as. We have a humidity problem in the vault, and it primarily stems from the blocks that it's constructed of. All of the companies that have submitted bids that you see have told us that 99% of our problems would be corrected if we update our HVAC system. Now, with that being said, and I know this is kind of jumping the gun, we are trying to apply for a grant that is due this Friday to help cover the cost of replacing our HVAC system in the vault. But the way that this grant will work is the deadline is Friday, they award it in June, the project has to be started, everything purchased and completed from July to October, which means I really need the court to consider fully budgeting for the HVAC system, because it's you do the project, you pay for it, and then they reimburse you. So it's a reimbursement type grant. So the paperwork that the pre-paperwork that we've submitted that I've mentioned before was the anticipation of helping the court cover half of the expense of a replacement HVAC system. You can see the bids that we have been given. We, not knowing much of anything about HVAC systems, have reached out to our chairman of our board of advisors and other people that we trust to give us good, strong advice. Did choose, I think if they're in the order.
Yeah, they are.
Is this the first one?
Mm-hmm.
So the first one in that list is the one that we chose.
The 8,700.
100.
Well, I noticed it has a 5-year warranty on the parts and
Right.
a year's labor warranty, and the others I didn't notice had that.
So
One of them also has a warranty, but the system is a bigger system, and the company that we did choose, they explained that if we have a smaller system than necessary, it would actually pull more of the humidity out, because it would run just a little bit longer.
Oh.
And that's what we're looking for, is to control that humidity,
Right.
because
You know all
that is one of the big
I do
problems
know
with longevity in the records.
Yeah, I bet you
But
do.
Night
The
Electric
oversized unit, it won't
did
run
Yes.
put
enough to take the
a
humidity out of the air.
Okay, see,
dehumidifier,
from someone who hasn't do it, I'd
dehumidification
say, well, it
equipment.
seems like it'd be the opposite.
No.
No.
That probably will require drilling holes into the building.
I just,
You
the
know,
3
Yeah.
bids,
It's
the
good to
3
know
bids
that,
wasn't
'cause
the
I wouldn't have, I would have
same.
sat there and thought, well, why
They
wouldn't you
didn't
need
bid
something
apples to
bigger?
apples,
Okay,
so I was just curious.
Yeah.
I just noticed the
And-
jazz in
and
the
the
Your
one-
grant, or, I'm sorry.
Yes,
I didn't
no,
know
no,
you was in
you're
the
good.
middle. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, we're good.
I was just gonna explain something, but go ahead.
For your purpose,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
yes,
Baker.
Yes.
You guys
thank
are
you for
awesome.
doing
Thank you.
that. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're trying, like Stacy said, we've got a lot of needs, and if we can find a grant to help cover it,
Absolutely.
help you guys as much as possible.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Next up, Nathan Cockrell, Solid Waste.
Good morning.
Good morning.
On y'all's tablets, we did have the year-end sheets for the litter abatement and recycling. So I just go over those numbers briefly. In the litter abatement in 2023, it was a total of 452 miles picked up, 3,086 bags, and 304 tires. And so I do appreciate Deputy Rogers and the jail crew that worked hard out there, and all the nonprofits, community service that we had. I believe it makes a good difference out there. For our recycling center, we did take in about 164 tons. That is a 14% increase over 2022, and so I thank Tim Pitts and his crew for what they did out there. So, just wanted to give those numbers to you. I also had on your tablets some permits to approve. It is the season for that. So I did 2 inspections of our 2 of our metal yards in Logan County. Morgan's Recycling out on Stevenson Mill Road, Cumberland Scrap off Morgantown Road. I visited them, everything checked out, and so I wanted to go ahead and submit them to approve.
Make a motion to approve the permit applications as presented.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Do I have any further discussion? If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
And traditionally, it's been done to submit the hauler separately for a motion, and I had one hauler ready to go. MPG drives for Scott Waste, and so what they do is they take the trash from the transfer station and will haul it to the landfill. Usually that's going to be in Hopkins County, and so their insurance checked out and submitted them to approve also.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
And I wanted to do this very quickly, if I may, just as a reminder about the Scott Waste Service, because I know there were some questions about that. And I did not make this decision, so I'm doing this as a public service, but I just wanted to put it out there. As most know, last week the service was suspended due to the bad weather, and it was for everyone. It happened to be recycling week. And so talking with Sam, what the decision was on that was, instead of picking up recycling this week, that they would go ahead and wait and do the recycling in February. And so what that means is, and the reason for that is there weren't really enough drivers, they felt like, to pick up the recycling and the regular garbage this week. He just didn't have the manpower to do that, was his argument. And then what they said, if you have extra garbage, you are able to set it beside your regular tote. They ask you not put out the other tote because they don't pick those up. They'll wait to pick those up in February.
Rest of this week and next week as well, or just this week?
Say, I'm sorry.
Just this week they can do that, or this week?
I think it was just this week is what they said. So
To put the recycling out with the?
no.
That's-
Stuff on the
no.
side.
Yeah, I was
Following
gonna say.
normal schedule.
It'll be back just as garbage service, and if you had excess garbage, you could put that beside or top your tote.
So everybody with recycling has to bring it back in?
Yes, ma'am. It is unfortunate. It was kind of the best they felt like of a difficult situation to do. So, and it was requested to have, Sam, the manager, come in and talk again soon about the situations with recycling and everything else, some ideas. And so I said that was fine. I'll ask him if he could come.
I mean, you know how it is. You don't hear from people unless they're complaining.
Sure.
But I will say that communication, and I think the pickup issues have gotten better with Scott Waste. I think they have done a lot better. So, when he comes, I'll tell him, but I think things have gotten better. I think it's worth mentioning because, usually we just hear about the complaints, but I think it's also good to let them know that we notice. I mean, like even myself and other people I've noticed, they gotten texts and we've requested maybe they could look at doing more of that texting and whatnot. And I've been getting text messages about pickups and I think they're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, this week was just unfortunate. This past week, I'm
To
sorry.
put something on, like the radio station, the local radio station, is it a cost to put a public thing like that there?
No, the WRS works really well on something like
Okay.
that. They'll put
Well,
it out there.
That would be huge if they could put that as a ongoing announcement during that time, because a lot of people did not know.
Okay.
And they left their recycling out there for 2 or 3 days, dogs and stuff get into it. And so they said, is there any way to let us know?
I'll have to defend Scott on this because I heard it multiple times on the radio. I mean, I know,
Okay, well,
I made
that's-
sure that they had
Radio
it.
and Facebook.
Radio,
and text.
Facebook, yeah, it was
That's
out
what I was
there.
gonna say. Now, I will admit failure to listen to all that, and if it was on repeatedly, I would have. But
It was in the paper, I think it was in the paper also, wasn't it? Yeah. And it was on multiple
well,
times, Facebook, yeah, it
know,
was out
I'm
there.
sorry.
They did a really good job. No, don't.
No, actually, I've got too many rocks that I'm trying to crawl over. The bottom line is, you all did put it out, and some of the people calling said they didn't see it, didn't hear it, didn't know it. That's partly because they weren't looking in the right places.
I know multiple days, right on the hour, it was announced.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I needed
Yes,
to
ma'am.
hear.
Yes.
My
They
hair
seem
there.
to communicate with WRS pretty well. It's gotten better. as
Okay.
I said,
Yeah,
in that
it was
particular-
really good.
My other question is, I noticed on one of these, you said aluminum cans no longer recyclable?
That is at Morgan's Recycling.
They're just not taking.
At that one location?
At that one location, yes, ma'am. No, Cumberland Scrap still accepts aluminum cans, and we accept them at our recycling center by the animal shelter. But Morgan's, I talked to them, they have a lot of contamination, and they just felt like for their business, it was just not good. It was not the best. So
I
they
just wanted to
decided
make
stop
sure that
accepting it.
wasn't.
It was just for Morgan's Recycling.
Okay,
So
okay,
they were sad about it, but that had to be for them.
okay.
You can let your constituents know they can sign up for the text alerts through Scott Waste.
Ah,
Yeah.
so they can sign up through Scott Waste to get alerted.
Yes, absolutely.
I think I was added.
That's huge. I'm not sure some of these have smartphones.
That's another option.
Sign up. Well, that's good. So can you tell me how they do that?
I think is it called Waste Connect?
Yes.
Waste Connect?
Yeah, that's the parent company of Scott Waste. The Waste Connect app will really
And they
help
would
you.
get a telephone message.
Yeah, they'll get a.
Okay, is
It
there,
updates that on that app really well.
and that's
So,
through Scott Waste?
Yeah.
Yes.
There may be a Morse code option as well.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I'm gonna smile right through that.
Kite string and we're.
This is somebody
At least
trying
he
to
didn't go
talk
to
to
smoke
elderly here, I think.
Somebody still ain't gonna get it.
It's exactly.
Call,
Exactly.
complain.
Nathan, you have anything else?
Just one other thing I
All
wanted
right.
to mention. Several have asked about an e-scrap day in the spring,
Yes,
and
thank you.
I've talked with Judge Baker about an idea I have. We can't probably do it in the spring, but the fall. So the thing is, we've had grant funds in the past from local to help with recycling the TVs and computer monitors, and maybe we can get that in 2025, but not this year. So I'm looking at another option, and I may wait on that until I get all my ducks in a row. But I think it's going to work out. I'm getting some positive feedback from the quotes I'm getting. So
I think it's gonna work out great. I just can't wait for you to announce it so we can get that done and over with.
Sure, absolutely.
All right.
Any other? Thank y'all.
Nathan, thank you. EMS, John, do you have anything? Actually, it's not John. Oh, there goes John.
He's making Ashley.
Ashley. Welcome, Ashley.
Welcome. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Ashley McElvain. I'm the director of the ambulance service here in Logan County. It's been a pleasure working with you guys. I'd just like to extend a great thank you for the Med 10. We're happy to report that it's inspected and that it is projected to be on the road by the end of the week. We can't thank you enough for all your work in that acquisition, and we're excited to get it on the road and get it to service our community.
As long as I don't have to ride in it, I'm glad you got it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Actually, I got one thing, and John's aware of the situation. Just want to make sure that, your staff is properly educated on when and when not AirVac is supposed to be used.
Yes, sir.
I've had a
Yes, sir.
couple of situations where, that a constituent has been told, hey, we don't have enough people on staff, or we don't have enough ambulances. That's a terrible thing to say when, especially as much money as we spend and as well-staffed as y'all are. I don't know why that information was given like that, but we are properly staffed. We do have enough ambulances.
Yes, sir.
If that's not the case, y'all need to report that to us. And staff, your staff doesn't need to be telling constituents that, we don't have ambulances to take you to the hospital, call AirVac.
Yes.
That has happened twice with me and somebody that I know, and You know, that protocol should not be doing that, you know, so that could be, I know John knows about the situation. And
He said he'll throw you under the bus on this.
yeah, I hadn't spoke to Ashley about it, I spoke to you. And, you know, anyhow, we need to rest assured that we don't need an airback for somebody to take a simple ambulance ride to the hospital.
No doubt, yeah. I was letting Ashley come up and give the good news about Med 10. Thanks for all that. But no,
Sorry,
no,
Oh.
I handled that situation. As we spoke before, we get a lot of pressure, not pressure, we get a lot of encouragement from the Air Medical Services when they sell a membership or something like that. They want to use that membership and they encourage us to do that. And there are times when we get kind of busy, or if they're wanting to go long distance, that's an option. In those two instances, that wasn't handled exactly correctly, but we've addressed that. So yeah, we're leaning forward on that for sure.
So you all do take Logan County residents to Nashville when they need to go to Nashville?
That's a loaded question. Yes, ma'am. If I've got trucks available and somebody wants to go straight to Nashville, we try our very best to do that. If there are a lot of 911s going on, I can't tell somebody that's having a heart attack that we're going to drive this other person 2 hours down the road and not come to them. So if I've got all my trucks available, yes. If we're busy and I've only got one truck available, I can't send our last ambulance out of the county for several hours. And so in that instance, we tell them we'll take them anywhere that they want to go local. Because it's, you know, we want to take our members of the community to any hospital they want to go to, but at times it's a little unreasonable to say I want to go straight to Louisville, you know, if I've only got one ambulance, because we got to be ready for the next wreck, the next heart attack,
I think
whatever.
this particular person had to sit at Logan County Hospital for 2 hours.
Sure.
That's not okay, because they could have been in Nashville in an hour and a half.
They might have gotten there and waited 2 hours, you know.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I can tell you from a state standpoint, 2 hours here, we're like, golly, that's a long time, and it is a long time. We don't ever want that to happen.
Okay.
Statewide, 2 hours ain't that bad.
Really?
Yes, ma'am. There aren't enough pre-hospital providers to meet the needs of the state right now. That's just a fact, and it's an objective fact. We don't want anybody to wait 2 hours. If I have an ambulance available, we're going to grab them and go. Again, if you're at a hospital being seen by a physician and I've only got one truck, I really can't send that truck on a transfer out of county and leave the rest of the county with nothing, with nobody to respond. So, to your point, we are fully staffed. We have more ambulances on the road now than we've ever had before.
That's what I thought when
Yes, sir.
that statement was made. I was like,
Sure,
man, to
sure.
my knowledge, we got more ambulances
No doubt.
today than we've
And
ever had.
Run volume does go up every year, and so there will come a point in our future where we need another ambulance. Right now, we think we're okay.
And
Right
how
now.
many do you have now?
We have two 24-hour trucks. We have one 12-hour truck, and we also have a 24-hour call truck. So that's what we have right here.
That's 4.
Yes, ma'am. Not 24/7.
No, I cut the difference.
All right, good deal. Just checking. But yeah, that's what
24 and then
that's what we got
12
on
and
now. Yeah, and that's more than we've ever had. We think we're keeping up. If I had 10 ambulances, there's going to come a time when 11 calls come out. You know, we have to triage those runs and get to the people who need the ambulance the most. And so, yeah, at times you may wait at a hospital while we're out making emergency runs till we can get to you. There's no way around it.
Well, I'm
And
sure there's a standard, you know, what are your average runs a year?
That's exactly right.
And then you compare that to that's how you figure out how many
Sure.
ambulances you need, right?
That's exactly right, based on population and run volume.
Population.
That's right. And we technically are just above that, which we like. We want to be comfortable. Again.
We're already up to 400 runs.
Yeah.
Since the year started.
Yeah.
And today's the 22nd.
Yeah, last year our ambulances responded to members of this community 5,500 times plus, so it's just, it gets busier every year. Yeah, so, yeah. I can say with all confidence that we are well-staffed and we're keeping up, but there are times I can't take somebody straight to Louisville, or they have to wait at the hospital under the care of a physician until we get caught up. That's just gonna happen. It happens everywhere.
But I will also say, to help them out, as far as, we don't ever just call a helicopter. If you call 911, we're sending an ambulance out there. We're checking the status
Sure.
of the helicopter on their way
Sure.
there. Per the EMS, they ask us to check, and we usually, any type of stroke, anything serious, we've already checked air support before they get there.
Sure.
Now, there's a lot of times they can't fly, like today, I'm not sure they would fly,
Sure.
you know, because of the weather or whatever, but
Yeah, and there are specific mechanisms of injury when we'll call an aircraft. Our hospital out here is wonderful. They're fantastic, and they can handle almost anything. But if you've got a multi-system trauma, if you've got really bad burns, you need to get to a burn center, something like that, we'll put people on a helicopter to get them where they need to go in that case. But
Well, I appreciate it. I just, like I
Yes, sir.
said, I just wanted to make
No problem at all.
publicly known that
Yes, sir.
we have addressed that issue.
Yes, sir. We're on it.
All right, 2 24 hours, 1 12-hour, what was the last?
A call truck.
A call truck.
So that call truck there, that means we have 2 individuals with radios on at home, and if we get busy, we can pull the trigger on those folks, and they can come in and cover if we get busy. And we don't wait for a run to be holding either. That's when our last truck gets a run, they're coming in to cover. So we've always got a truck here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Yep, thanks for that update.
Appreciate it.
Thank
you,
you
Ashley.
very, very much. Let's, before we go through the judge's announcements, let's take a quick break real quick, about 10 minutes. Let's bring this meeting back to order. Next up is judges' announcements. Let's start with this. January 28th, the Night to Shine Boutique is open from 2 to 4 at the Adderville Baptist Church for females registered to attend the Night to Shine event on February the 9th. If you're interested, contact the Adderville Baptist Church through their website or Facebook page to register for the event. This is open to special needs individuals age 14 and up. January 27th, Logan County Clerk's office is open Saturday. On Saturday, their hours will be 9 to noon for vehicle business only. If you have a PVA request on your card, go to the PVA office first. They are not open on Saturdays, but if you go and you have that on your card, you cannot get anything done that day. February the 3rd, the countywide outdoor warning system, the COWS, will be testing. This will occur at noon. If there's satisfactory weather, the test will be rescheduled. All right. We don't have any reports. King, would you like to come up? I know you've been here for a minute. I know you have something for citizens' participation. I'm going to let King come up, King Simpson with the Logan County Library, and I apologize. I meant to have you up there, and it slipped through.
It's all
My
right.
apologies.
Appreciate y'all taking some time. I know you got a really busy schedule today. So here to talk to you about something a little bit different today. So we're talking about radon today. Radon is a word a lot of people have heard, but they don't maybe know a lot about it. So it is a naturally occurring gas. It's found pretty prevalently here, unfortunately, in Logan County. There's no color, no odor, no taste, no immediate effects on your body, but it is the second leading cause of lung cancer. And radon exposure typically occurs in the home, so this gas is coming up around us all the time, but when you're in a building, it has a tendency to concentrate to levels that can be dangerous. Of course, it's a leading cause among people, but number one cause is tobacco smoke exposure. But it's the leading cause among those who aren't exposed to tobacco smoke. About 1,000 Kentuckians are diagnosed every year with radon-related lung cancer. So we've partnered with the University of Kentucky. We're one of 4 counties in the state where they're doing this, where we have testing available, free testing available at the library. And Rachel Taylor, who works with us, is going to tell you a little bit more about how that works.
Yes. At the library?
Yes.
Yes. So we have these test kits that you can check out. So they come in these little cases. The kit comes with the tester that looks like this, and I'll pass this around so you can look at it. It also comes with 3 batteries that you put it in. You put the batteries in the back of the test kit and you set it out in your home, and essentially you just let it run for at least 2 weeks. The checkout lasts for 3, and then it'll give you numbers. So on your tester there's going to be a long-term average, and then it'll give you a short-term average, which will either be 7 days or your daily average. It'll flip between different numbers. That long-term average is what you want to look at. This one has moved around quite a bit, so it's not an accurate number. You're supposed to leave it in one spot, but I take that one with me so people can see what one looks like. If your numbers are above a 4, so it's measured in picocuries per liter, is that right? I think that's what it stands for. That's the
everyday term.
Yeah, just an unusual term that I'm sure everyone is familiar with. That is when the EPA, if it's above 4, the EPA recommends mitigation. Mitigation can look like many different things, but typically it involves installing some sort of pipe with a fan that will pull the radon kind of from underneath your home and disperse it above, outside. And then once it's outside, it disperses and it's not getting trapped in your home. So the EPA recommends at 4, and then somewhere around, I think is it 2.7, the world, between, the EPA suggests if it's between 2 or above 2 to 4, that you might recommend it. The World Health Organization suggests that if it is 2, you do look into mitigation. So there are people who all are certified to mitigate your home for radon. They can come in and fix that. And these test kits are available to check out at the library. They're completely free to check out, just like you would check out a book or a DVD. You do have to fill out a little bit of paperwork since
they are a little bit more expensive than most books are. But you just fill out that paperwork, you check it out. You can get it for up to 3 weeks. We recommend testing for at least 2 of those. There are instructions in here on where to set it in your home. They don't want it right beside an outdoor window or door. You don't want it in direct sunlight or in a very humid room like your bathroom or your kitchen. And then you'll just let it run. Now, if you decide that you want it for a little bit longer than those 3 weeks, if you forget to set it out, we can extend your checkout just like we would with the book. And when you check it out, you do have the option to be part of a research study that UK is doing with the grant. So that is optional. You are not required to join the research study. But if you wanted to, there's information in the kit on how to join. You can call or visit a website, send them an email, and you'll submit information about your radon levels in your home as part of that anonymous study with UK to help form a better map. Right now they have kind of a general map of what Kentucky and what Logan County looks like and what areas are at higher risk based on the geology and the geography, but they're trying to collect data to make more accurate maps of those risk areas. So that's just a little bit about the radon testing and how it works. And again, it's available at the library, at any of our branch locations too. We do have a couple available there to check out.
I think that can hold up a house sale now, can't it?
It is something that when you're doing a real estate transaction, they ask if you've tested for radon, what your levels are, that sort of thing. We've talked to some of the local realty companies about making sure they're aware that folks can come in and get this. And we recommend everybody test your house. There's a lot of myths like, I don't have a basement, so I don't have radon, or I live in a new home or an old home. We tell people your neighbor can have really high radon, you can have really low radon. The only way you're gonna know is to test your home. And we try to make this as free and easy. These devices are really easy to use. You come in, you get the device, like Rachel said, you put the batteries in it and you sit there and basically just let it do its thing for 2 weeks. You don't have to push any buttons or calibrate it, or it does all that work for you.
Yes.
I think people don't realize that now their real estate transactions can really be thrown.
So when you fill out the paperwork, you do acknowledge that since you're testing your home, you're just required to report it. There aren't, as far as I'm aware, any laws that will prevent a real estate transaction occurring regardless of what your radon levels are. It's just something you have to disclose if you've tested.
The buyers will balk.
Yeah, and so it depends if you have a mitigation system in place, like if you choose to mitigate your home, then that's a good thing. You know, you say you've tested and you've mitigated, so that's something that they don't really have to worry about doing. But it is something that they are required to disclose.
Just geographically, we're more at risk because of our cave system. Is that in the Western Kentucky area?
That does play a large part in it. So a lot of it is the geology, because it's the breakdown of uranium particles in the rock, and it just sort of depends on the rock types. There's the higher distribution area. If you look at that risk map, so say this is Logan County, there's sort of a red band that sweeps across the middle. It's sort of a horseshoe through the state, and there's a band of it that comes. So like your district looks like the risk potential is a lot lower than say maybe Chris or Miss Crawford, Mr. Wilcox, excuse me. But
Chris and Miss,
like
no,
you
that
said,
He's one of my constituents.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
But just because you're in that red band, it doesn't mean you have high radon in your home. Just because you're in it's kind of a bluish color for the light.
System made a difference.
But
That's
yeah,
cool.
that certainly plays a factor. And part of the reason they're wanting to get more individuals to sign up for that study is so they're not going off just a geological map of the risk potential. They're really wanting to know what's actually found in homes. The 30 years before this study, they have about 300 radon tests that have happened in Logan County. So a really low number of homes ultimately. And of course, a lot of new homes have been built since then. Homes have been remodeled, so their numbers might change. At that time, 40% tested above the action level. So it is pretty prevalent in our area. And we've already tested almost as many homes since we've started doing this program as have been tested in that prior 30 years, and we're hoping that it's increasing. We're seeing more and more checkouts.
Thank you.
Just being aware.
That's
Thanks
great.
for the information.
And thanks for this. This is
Thank
very
you.
right? Make available.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, continue with citizen.
I'm sorry, can I add? I just want to thank Judge Baker. He did issue a proclamation for January is National Radon Action Month. He also issued a proclamation for Logan County for it to be Action Month in January.
We all need to really pay attention to this. It was not on my radar till they came and spoke with me personally, and then made me very aware. As a matter of fact, I think I have a unit reserved. I've just got to go pick it up. Just haven't done it yet. You know, it's like everything else. But I do appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, citizens' participation continues. Do we have anyone else? If not, let's move on to old business. Do we have any old business? No old business. Let's move on to new business. First order, acknowledge the county clerk's recap for calendar year 2023.
So acknowledge. Second.
We have a motion and a second.
I do have a question.
We wanted you to get some exercise.
I'm just curious because I've never noticed it before. What is the affordable housing that is in our county clerk's fees? I mean, what is that?
We have to give hang on, she's coming, affordable housing, that check that we write to affordable housing to Kentucky, he wants to know what that is. We write a check to him. Yeah, it's just on one of the districts.
Where do we collect it?
Yeah, but where is it collected? Like, I don't see, when I come in to license my car, I don't see anything that says
on the
$1.98
dock
affordable housing.
It's in dock fees. It's tied in with mortgages and like that type of thing on the recording side of all this.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
so it's
not
nothing to do
coming
with
from
vehicles,
No,
it's
no. No, sir.
deeds and stuff like that. Okay, I was
Yes.
just curious, I was like, that's
Yes.
kind of interesting.
Any further questions?
I do have our final settlement that I'll need the court to approve, but I didn't get it on, we had it, but I didn't get it on the agenda. We'll bring it back.
It's fine.
Okay,
That's
before
fine.
we run it in the newspaper.
We'll take care of it.
Okay.
If,
We've got a meeting, well, not we, but a couple of us have a meeting, so we're gonna head out. Are y'all sure you don't have anything for us? Thank you, guys. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Stacy. Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes,
Baker.
Yes. Item number 2, approve the appointment of Tracy Shiflett to the Board of Assessment Appeals for a 3-year term set to expire December 31st, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion?
2027?
It should be 2027, yes, yes, 2026, actually, wouldn't it?
Tell you what, that Chris, he doesn't miss he doesn't miss those things.
Yeah, I think it's 2026. Yeah, I seen that. As soon as you brought that to my attention, I realized what I'd done, yes.
Good job.
2026.
she's going back in time.
Well, that was a one-day term.
Not with Chris on the board.
All right, 3-year term set to expire December 31st of 2026.
Yeah, got it.
You motion?
I had a motion and I had
And
a
I
second.
second.
I had a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Good catch there. Thank you, Chris. Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes,
Baker.
Yes. Next up, it says open bids for qualified energy service companies for the energy savings performance contract. We only had one to submit. I'm going to leave this up here. Ryan, would you like to come up and, what's that?
They sent it in a shoebox?
Yeah.
It's 800 pages.
With a pair of classic Nikes.
It's a bunch of Post-its and IOUs.
There's 3 of them in there. I've got it electronic. I'll send it to you guys too. That's fine.
It's a ballot box. You gotta
We need
cut
to
a
go
little
through
slot
each
on the
one.
top.
So Ryan, would you like to explain a little bit on what this is?
So, part of this process, we've been obviously working to kind of understand what your needs and what this program can do to help Logan County and their facilities. This is not the end, I'll preface this is, atypical of opening just a bid package for, let's just say, a HVAC unit. You get 3 bids and, you're selecting a partner today to go forward and work with you guys to develop a project that really fixes the needs. We've got a lot of things that we were going to address through this proposal with the jail, energy savings that are going to come from the judicial center to pay for those savings. We've got some items that are coming from this facility. So on the break, just talking with Jailer Toomey, the next step after this is sitting down with you guys and workshopping. There's a lot of options that are a part of this proposal. Obviously, there's things that have energy savings, more so, like the LED lighting, HVAC improvements. And then there's some things that have the longer payback, like there's an option in there for a piece for solar. There's an option, obviously, in there for the jail roof, but we've we've included that in that 15 and 20-year cash flow.
Page 67 starts
in the
money
back.
part, but y'all probably interested in.
You got to get through all the other 200 pages to get to that one.
I have the electronic version of this, and I apologize. I meant to send it, but I did not get it sent out.
Yeah, so there's quite a bit in there. Like I said, there's different ways to bundle this as well. You know, there's down payment options, there's pure financing options. But again, the goal of this is we identify savings that are going to pay for either the bond payment or justify the investment by the county to do this. So the one, obviously I'm biased standing here today, but the one nice thing about this is you guys aren't going up to discuss the roof individually. I was just listening to some of the conversation from today. The archives getting an HVAC unit, obviously they bid that, but if it's something you guys want to put as part of this program and have, supervision, engineering behind that HVAC, if humidity is a big issue, having somebody do a little bit more in-depth engineering behind that for a long-term fix is probably a good idea too. So that's not obviously in this, but that can be part of the discussion once we sit down.
So the individual needs that have been brought forward can be incorporated into this?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And then what we do is we'll make sure we've got energy savings, enough energy savings that'll actually pay for those improvements. So the judicial center is unique. There's obviously they've got bills that come to the court. AOC reimburses the court for the use of that building. Right. One thing ESG is good with is getting a memorandum of agreement with AOC to continue the reimbursement level that you're at now, even though you do the improvements. So you can get that benefit of the energy savings, and they can continue to reimburse you at the same rate. So it's essentially a hold harmless, for you guys improving their building. They not to penalize you guys for doing that. So.
Right.
And then obviously we want those energy savings from that large square footage to go help, the payback on the roof for the jail. So that's kind of how we move the puzzle pieces around.
So you're actually doing some of our busy work for us.
We try to. We try to make this a nice turnkey. Again, we've had some discussions about how the procurement works. Again, you're selecting a partner today, correct. But as far as this goes, going through the process of looking at, hey, here's a roofing bid, here's the spec. We sit down and workshop that through you, and then just work through kind of what those puzzle pieces you guys want. Is at the end of the day, it's your project. It's going to be a major improvement to several facilities through one single procurement, and we're excited to be a partner with Logan County.
So basically, what we're doing today is we're picking a partner to go through and help us with this. Ryan and I we've been talking about this for a year or more at this point, of just sitting down, a lot of meetings. They've came in, they've done the work, they've assessed everything, and I think it'd be my suggestion that we choose them as a partner.
Yeah, one piece to add to, there's obviously rebates, there's some tax credits, so we can kind of bring all that together to kind of build a nice project that, again, takes care of some issues all in budget issue. As the jailer's budget's limited, it's not him coming out of nowhere to put a roof on or replace right. HVAC units. So nice way for you guys to catch up.
Exactly.
Judge Benz, it's such a large document, and a couple of the magistrates may have not had any time at all to review it or even familiarize themselves with the process. I would suggest that we take this document and give the court time till next court meeting before making a motion to accept it, especially being we only had one bid
correct.
To consider, which is, I'm fine with that because it's such a specialized thing, but I'd hate for some. I'm not comfortable had I not spent a lot of hours researching it, bidding on, or voting on something that was
Oh,
100
yeah.
pages.
And I totally agree with you, 100%.
Absolutely.
I couldn't read 100 pages between now and next court meeting, so
This is not, and I
I'd
told
have to
Judge
commit
Baker.
myself to that.
I told Judge Baker from the very beginning, this is a long process.
Absolutely.
It's the truth.
Judge Whitfield will say the same thing. In Hopkins County, we just finished a project there. This is not we turn wrenches tomorrow. We need to sit down and really
Right. Well, and this is where one of the reasons our building committee, after we do make this after we make an approval, and if this is the way the court chooses to go, I will now leave it up to you guys mostly to meet with Ryan and go over the options, and then we can start looking at options in that aspect. Right now, we're just doing the front work of trying to get it ready for you guys.
And that way, you've now got Ryan's contact. You got questions, you know.
Absolutely.
I mean, you just email Ryan.
That's
you
right.
know.
Yes, ma'am, those are yours. And
You've got-
Judge has got an electronic copy.
I have.
Hate to read stuff on email. If you don't mind, I'd rather do it.
No, you can have that. Yeah, yeah. I've emailed each one of you this proposal. So.
Yeah, and that way they would be a little better informed of what we are actually voting on, and what your service
Absolutely.
is.
No, and again, like I said, this is your guys' project. You know, in no ways are we. It's not a rush decision. This is
Correct.
something that's going to be a long-term benefit to the county, but we want to make sure you guys are educated in the process.
Not voting blind.
Absolutely.
So you're making a motion?
Make a motion to table this to,
We'll table
the
it
vote
till-
next court meeting.
Absolutely.
February
And if you have any
8th.
questions in the interim, feel free to email, text. I think all my contact
You are
information.
Ryan?
Yes, ma'am.
What's your last name?
Baker.
No Ken, by the way. No Ken.
Ah,
Yeah.
13.
we cut it
13.
now.
The 13th.
Caught it
February.
now.
Yeah, no Ken, by the way. Just want to lay that out there. Just make sure he comes from a different state that I've never.
It's funny.
Hey, I've already done mine.
Thank you.
Ryan,
If you
I'm
need
a
anything,
romantic.
absolutely.
That's already done.
Questions?
I got 4 of them to do.
good. You all have Ryan's contact. If you have any information, please reach out to him.
Ryan, do you have a contact in the book?
I think so. I think it's in the front
I'm
page.
sorry that I didn't look for it.
If not,
Find it. If you don't mind, give it to me at some point.
Check the shoebox. Check the shoebox. I don't have a card. I'll put it in here. Let me put it on the front of that one.
You just put it right there with your name.
All right, we have a motion to table. Do we need a second?
A second.
We don't get a second. If no further discussion about
One
this,
chapter.
roll call, please.
One chapter a day, is
Yes.
that way it works?
Goodwin,
Or every few.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Holden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Ryan, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. That's all right.
Next
Come back
up
with that post-it
is
note.
approval to amend
Otherwise,
the
you won't
electrical inspector contractor to include the requirement amount of liability insurance listing Logan County Fiscal Court as certified holder and requiring each electrical inspector to provide the Logan County Judge's Office with the documentation annually. So basically, we were having a little bit of issue with some of the electrical inspectors getting us the proper amount, and after that discussion we had last week, we have bumped the numbers up.
So what are the current numbers? I apologize, I don't
And
see
I
it.
don't know them right off of
On
the,
paragraph 8,
8?
sorry, I'm trying to get there, bud.
so carry $1 million
There it
liability.
is.
insurance.
$1 million, yep. I almost said 100,000, but I knew it wasn't right. Yep, $1 million liability insurance.
Yeah, so the one correction on paragraph 8 should read, carry 1 million per occurrence, a minimum of 1 million per occurrence, 1 million total aggregate.
So instead
So
of
it's
it being worded that way,
million, because you
Right.
could do, when you say it's just 1 million, you can get a total aggregate of 1 million, but each occurrence is only $10,000.
Right.
You know, you see what I'm saying?
I do
Yes.
understand.
You get to 1 million at 10,000 at a time.
I don't see any problem with
It
changing that.
should be
Do
a
you,
million,
Joe?
a million
Okay, I see no problem with that, with
Per
making that correction.
experience.
per occurrence, but it's called an occurrence. So if you have one
Wrong
event,
word.
you know, how much total insurance
Do
is
you
covering
have?
that one event?
Event,
We're
okay.
saying $1 million
Per,
is the total.
rather than the total.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that.
So the general aggregate $1 million. each occurrence.
Yeah, and that should be the minimum. I mean,
Yes,
I
I
would
agree.
think some of those guys who are doing commercials probably in the $2 and $5 million
Agreed.
liability.
Are you making that a motion as, with that change?
Yeah, if y'all are okay with that.
Yes.
I mean, y'all put through
No,
with
no,
the
we
rest of
agree.
it?
No, we agree.
Okay,
All right,
so I do put that in form of motion.
Second.
and Jamie made a second. Any further discussion?
The only other discussion to have, there's a couple that we saw last court meeting when we were looking at their certificate of insurance who currently only have 500,000.
Correct.
Are we gonna give them a length of time? Obviously, they're not gonna
You know,
boom, be out of compliant today. I mean, I think we ought to offer a grace period.
like at
that-
least like 30
Give them
days.
30 days
30
to get
days.
this
I agree.
bumped up. I wouldn't wanna prevent somebody doing work.
I'm pretty sure
because of a
Olivia
motion we just
has
passed
got
today.
a letter going out to each one of them, or she's personally contacted each one of them, so she knows
We
this
just
is
had
coming.
one that
But I
was
will
out,
verify,
Mr. Dossett, I think.
but I'll verify
I think
that
they
that
said
was
he
taken care
wasn't
of.
doing very much, was he?
I remember Gary and Mr. Snodgrass both
Have the million?
had the $1 million minimums.
Okay.
I'll
Okay,
have-
well, you
Yeah,
know,
no, I
I mean,
agree with you. It's a
it's
good
Kinda like what the
idea.
sheriff's doing. He's not passing out, citations for somebody with 2-week expired tag,
Mr.
so.
Dossett had $1 million. His occurrence was $500,000.
Right,
Right.
and that's where he would be
Okay,
compliant.
I will
But it
make sure
says
of
it
that.
Once again.
All right, we have,
The one guy was just a half.
we have a motion and a second on the
Good
table.
job.
Is there any
I'm
other
so grateful to
discussion?
you. That kind of stuff, I wouldn't have caught it till after.
If no further
Yes,
discussion, roll call?
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Holden,
Yes,
Baker.
Yes. Next up, speaking of electrical inspectors, approved to appoint Jonathan Gardner as an electrical inspector in Logan County for a 1-year term.
yep. So if you'll notice on his insurance, he has 2 million per occurrence, 4 million total aggregate. He just, he needs to put, Logan County Fiscal Court as the
Yes.
certificate holder is the only thing. I move to approve Gary Carver?
No, Jonathan Gardner.
No, Jonathan Gardner. There it is, Jonathan Gardner. That's the agent, sorry.
It's just hard to read.
He works at
It's on blue.
State Farm, yeah. Jonathan Gardner.
Contingent on
Yeah, he's gotta get his certificate holder thing done.
second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, roll call?
Davenport,
Yes.
The blue is
Goodwin,
kind of hard to read.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes,
Baker.
Yes. Number
Hey,
six.
hold on just a second. So this policy, I was supposed to bring this up. This policy expires on February the 2nd of 24.
Correct.
And he's already got his new policy in effect. He just don't have his certificate. So the court just needs to be aware that he's good until
Right.
2025 on his insurance.
Oh, that's
But
huge.
he'll need to provide a new certificate
Yeah.
that lists us as additional insured.
He's give proof where he's paid for his new policy. He just don't have the updated form because it's not.
right, they won't give it to him. But if you're a certificate holder, the agent typically will catch that and automatically send them out. You know, if they see Logan County Fiscal Court is already a certificate holder and they renew the policy, they'll send out new ones.
All right, thank you. Number 6, approve the grant application resolution from DLG for the House Bill 1 Jail Arraignment Equipment Grant Project. Basically what that is we've made one of these already, and it was for the hardware. This is for the software. It's correct to say that they are going to basically reimburse us. Is that correct, Jalen?
We're not out anything, the money's available, it just gotta be requested from DLG. The state's already made that money available, so.
Okay. So are they, and this is because I don't know.
That form that I give you.
Yes, sir.
The letter.
Yes, sir.
Plugs in the amount, and it all depends on how many units that you receive. We received 3.
Okay.
Other facilities may have been less, may have been more, so their total changed, but, But again, we're not out anything, that money's available, it's just gotta be requested.
Okay.
So to add to that, Jay Virginia is right, technically, we are gonna get reimbursed for all of this. But the process will look like that it comes through as a bill, and it will come out of the jail's budget. And then once we request our reimbursement from DLG, we will have to go through the budget amendment process to put that back into the budget. So you will see it actually come out of his budget, but it will go back in once we finish that process. But we do have to keep in mind that that process is potentially a 2-month-long process.
Okay.
So once we pay out that potential $80,000+ we, we'll have to wait until we get the budget amendment process and everything done with DLG to put it back in the jail's budget.
What I am seeing is $44,018, $44,018.78.
I'm with you, Thomas. I'm with you. So there's actually 2 separate ones from what Josh has explained to us. One of them, the first one was for hardware.
Yes, it was
And the second one is for software. So this one is the software portion.
Okay, so it's 2 separate ones, they're not together.
Yes.
So we've already approved one of them?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We've taken care of one, and have you received the equipment yet? Or-
Oh, yes, it's been
Have we
installed.
paid for
We have not paid for it yet. We wanted to get all of our DLG approval
Okay.
before we paid for anything.
Okay.
I do have one question, more, I don't know. Olivia yesterday informed me that all she had was the resolution for this one, not the actual application that looks like this. That came with the last one we did.
Let me see.
I was never sent that.
This was in all the paperwork you provided us the last time. Amanda just filled it in for us.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, the only other documents that I received was the resolution. That was all that was sent. That was what was needed.
Where did
But I
you
can
find it?
wire
Yeah.
It's 16.
I was looking at that last one, but I didn't go far enough.
This was the last one
Sorry.
we did.
So there's an application form that we need? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's how the process looked last time. I would assume it's the same way with this one. But all she had was the resolution that went with this application we did the last time.
I make a motion to approve the grant application and resolution from DLG.
I now understand what you're
Second.
All right, I have a motion
Yeah,
and
that's
I have a
the last one
second.
we did.
And we'll reach out to see about getting that paperwork taken care of. Is there any other discussion? If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Willcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. All right, that takes care of our new business. Do we have any reason to go into executive session?
Thank you very much.
If not, that means, do we have anything for post agenda?
Do I?
You always have
Yeah,
some.
you're the one that always has it. so-
I got with Karen on the animal shelter. I wasn't gonna bring it up, but since you, and she's getting me an inventory list,
Great.
and I'm just gonna get it to Eric. That way he knows that if it's not but a chair and a table and a computer monitor, he knows what's his, ours, animal shelter
Perfect.
equipment.
Perfect.
Who owns what, in other words?
Is there anything else for post agenda?
No, good.
If not,
We'll take all their stuff as rent payment.
that's up to you.
Motion to adjourn.
Matter less.
Chris
Second.
made this motion to
Boy,
adjourn.
Chris and Thomas jumped on me.
Thomas has seconded it. All in favor, have